Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/FBIA podcast. Over 150,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. For the listeners of the FBIA podcast, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. Find some of our favorites. Writing the Apocalypse by Eric Alexander. 1984 by George Orwell, The Beginner's Boston Dictionary by Marcus Albee, Plagueland by S.D. Sykes, No End Save Victory by David Kaiser. Books from all genres and walks of life right into your ears. To download your free audiobook today, go to audibletrial.com/FBIA podcast. Again, that's audibletrial.com/FBIA podcast, or go to FBIApodcast.com and click the link at the bottom of the page.
Previously on Football is America.
Well, Ron took the sort of intensity that normally I would have, so I'm going to take the sensible approach. Let's see how long I can keep that crap up. Anyway, start out, Ben, thank you for proper grammar and punctuation. Makes me hate you so much less right away. And thank you for rating us. That's something. Even if it's, incorrect. To tell us that we're not unique, are you really about to tell me, you lying son of a bitch, that people are making claims that they are themselves blessed by divine beings, as I have done numerous times and will continue to do so? Are you really sure about that? Now, I guess the generalized format is pretty ho-hum in that sense, but I'm sorry, there's only so many ways to talk about sports under the sun, okay, man? I don't have a flamingo out here that can speak to go ahead and give you a new perspective. I'm not a sorcerer. What the hell do you want, okay? You want me to cut open my stomach and rip out my entrails and jump rope with them? I'm sorry, you can't convey that over the audible medium that is sound.
21 seconds is how long it lasted that you were sensible.
I knew I couldn't do that. If I'm not going to change for my wife, I'm not going to change for you. I am a bad person, and I'm probably going to burn in hellfire for all eternity, and I'm okay with that. I'm not okay with it, but, I'm lazy, and I'm not going to change. If you don't have thumbs, that's proof that God stopped loving you a long time ago. Jump in that river! Ben is a better human than all of you. Stop touching yourself. I don't know.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Football is America with Ron, Kyle, and Mike. My name is Mike. Say hi, Ron.
Hello.
How you doing, Kyle?
Yeah.
How is everybody?
It's been a long day, man.
Yeah, seriously. How many interviews you do today?
4.
That's an S load.
And great interviews. It was taxing today.
It was draining today.
Yeah.
I mean, the guys had some pep, but apparently we were not all on the same wavelength, so it was more factual than the, hey, we're getting drinks at a bar together and talking about the game kind of experience I was hoping for.
Right.
They knew too much. They knew too much. That was it.
Well, they were passionate, and that's important. We love it, and we'll never turn down what they have to say. It was a long day today. That's it.
Well, you know what it is? I prompted every single one of them with like, hey, go ahead and get a dig in at like another team or whatever, and none of them took the opportunity.
You even gave one guy the opportunity to get a dig at the Colts.
Yeah, and then nothing. So I mean, like,
bummer.
I just want to, it's like, hey, Dolphins, you're attacking Tom Brady. All we wanted was, yeah, that guy sucks. We hate him too. And then I'd be like, I know, right? Babysitter's Club forever.
You guys make me feel bad because like you're sitting here working your ass off on these interviews all day, which I had nothing to do with, and I straight up missed the show yesterday. Last week.
Well, that's okay. I mean, you have obligations and stuff, and
I miss you guys. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, well, we're glad you're back too, Mike.
Lots been going down. My sister had a baby. I bought a car. Like I'm like grown up now. Like that happened the last 2 weeks.
Really?
Yeah. Like my sister had a baby yesterday. My 4'11" sister had a 9.5-pound baby. That's.
Apologies to her husband or boyfriend.
Yeah, that's like 2 small babies.
I don't think that's how babies work.
No, that baby is too damn big.
That's a lot of stitches.
Yeah, and then I finally got a damn car. Like that's just like life's been going on.
It's about time too, man, because you had what do you have, like 3 cars now?
I've got 3 cars now. Yeah. I now have 3 cars, and one of them's running.
If only you had somewhere to go.
You're one giant Buick away from having a Puerto Rican front yard. So
that's actually really funny. You say that. I mean, is he making stuff up, Kyle? And don't you take the offended stance, by the way. You're the last guy.
Wait a minute. No, because if there's racist information out there and I don't know about it, that is crap, first of all. Okay. Now I'm used to calling a handgun a Puerto Rican credit card, but I don't know about them with the arms on their fonts.
I did want to say though, Ron, if you do know someone, or Kyle, someone selling a giant Buick, I'm actually looking to pick one of them up because I plan on doing the demo derby this summer. So.
Oh Christ.
Oh yeah, and I'm gonna throw my own accomplishments in as well.
Yeah,
I am now a homeowner.
Oh yeah, that's
nice.
Right. House. Yeah, claps.
Yeah. Take that, society.
Listeners, you better be clapping along too. That's our home. He just bought a house.
Yeah, now I get to fix and the anxiety begins because on Saturday the wife wakes me up like, let's go to Home Depot and look at paint. And then we went to Home Depot and we looked at paint and tile.
For how long?
And flooring. We were there like 3 hours.
That's a long time.
And we argued a lot. I'm like, no, that's going to look awful. And in the back of my head, I'm like, I'm paying for all of this. You got to be kidding me. We're going to do your ugly idea. This is my house. And then I realized I'm not even going to look at this.
Yeah, well, I actually had a lot of things I wanted to say there, and I just realized that none of them were suitable for the show.
Well, all right, 50 Shades of Grey. Go ahead and put women down later. Let's go ahead and get on with the business.
Yeah, in that case, you guys want to talk about this free agent roundup?
No, but we have to.
Yes.
And Ndamukong Suh.
6 year, $114 million, 60 guaranteed. Hooray, hooray, hooray.
Yeah, great upgrade for them. And I hope he...
You better beat the Patriots. There we go.
Yeah, I want them to break him in half. Tom Brady should be in 2 pieces.
How about Darrelle Revis?
Signs with the Jets, 5-year, $70 million deal with $39 million guaranteed. Makes him the highest paid corner again by the same team. Scott Salmon from the Gangrene Nation tweeted me, said he's not worried about the contract. The Jets have the money to set ablaze. So apparently there's no worries on the fan front.
I agree. Darrelle Revis is great. If you can get him, you pay the money. And he said it wasn't the money, it was his heart that took him back to New York.
BS.
Whatever. He's got a ring. Who cares?
How about Julius Thomas?
Signed with the Jaguars for $9.2 million over 5 years and $24 million guaranteed. Good signing for the Jaguars and Colton.
But
Denzel.
it's bad for him because, like, 5 years down the road, somebody's going to bring up Julius Thomas and be like, "Where did he go? Is he like in witness protection or something? How come I don't hear about him anymore?"
It's because he plays on the Jaguars.
They're gonna.
Yeah, exactly. That's the joke, Ron.
They're gonna pull up the. They're gonna have to pull up the archives of this exact conversation and be like, "They called it."
Anybody who's seen both the Broncos and the Jaguars has called it.
Yes. Well, Colton Menzel from Big Cat Country tweeted me and said, best pass catching threat that the Jags have had in 10 years. So that says quite a bit, and I don't think that really matters when Blake Bumbles is your quarterback. So
Blaine Gabbert 2.0, ladies.
Yep.
How about DeMarco Murray?
This one was weird, right, Kyle? Didn't you find this one really weird?
A bit, yeah. He took his talents to Philadelphia, joining the Eagles for 5 years, $40 million overall, $20 million guaranteed. It seemed for a while there like he'd end up back in Dallas, kind of let things play out. But then once he got to Philly, that was it. He just had to stick it to his former team. And I don't know. We'll see if this can make something work. It gets really confusing as to why the Eagles did all the things that they did, but...
Yeah, and it's BS if he says that it's anything other than because he's upset that the Cowboys valued Des Bryant over him. Like that's just it's fact. He
was mad because Jerry Jones made a non-Jerry Jones decision. He's like, "Come on, Jerry, you're used to making awful ideas happen." And Jerry's like, "No, I've actually been taking the medication this time. You know, the family's really watching me." And then he's like, "Oh, well, I guess I'm not getting paid. Go to the enemy. Peace on earth." You know, and that was it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that despite the signing of DeMarco Murray, the Eagles also signed Ryan Matthews.
Yeah, and this was another weird one because at first everybody's like, well, I guess with DeMarco Murray signing, Ryan Matthews is going to be out the door. He's going to go visit somebody else. And then all of a sudden everybody's like, you know what? Ryan Matthews is still going to sign with the Eagles because he believes that they can win, and he's going to be the backup to DeMarco Murray. And I'm like, man, you went from being a starter and had the ability to probably be a starter somewhere else to being the backup to DeMarco Murray. I mean, and they do have a really good
example in the confusion that is Chip Kelly's free agency period.
And they have a really good set back there now, though, because you got DeMarco Murray, who is kind of your balance back. You have Ryan Matthews, he's more of your power back, and then you got Darren Sproles, who is your swing and slot guy.
All right, well, how about Mike Iupati?
Signed with the Cardinals. I don't even know what his contract was worth because the details, for some reason, have never not hit the internet. But he signs with the Cardinals. Good signing. I mean, he's a big time mauler in the run game. Not real great in pass protection, but I mean, good for them. And he was the best. He was the best at his position for rated best
lineman. Really, in free agency, went to the Cardinals, so that's a win.
Well, how about this big old messy Greg Hardy situation?
Suspension still looming, and no decision's been made because why would the NFL make a decision ever? So
right. Is there?
And why would you sign a dude to big money when the NFL could come out and be like, 16 games, why not? So you just don't sign him until that info comes out.
So he's just totally in limbo in the meantime?
Yeah, and he's not going to get a big contract. Nobody's going to give him big money unless you get somebody like Dan Snyder, Jerry Jones might, and I doubt it, though. And it had to be
But
somebody
now he's got so much time to go to the gym and get with a boxing trainer and learn how to have a video more terrible than Ray Rice. You got to earn it, fellas. It doesn't happen on accident. You got to work for it.
All right, move us along.
Right in the jaw. Bang.
Move us along.
I'm not cutting Keil off. He's being funny as hell right now.
Oh, man. It's
How about Percy Harvin? What's going on with him?
Signed with the Bills on a 1-year, $6 million contract. And I thought this was interesting because it was a 1-year deal, and it's a prove-it deal. And I think that's funny because he just came from the Jets, who was coached by Rex Ryan, and he went to the Bills, who are now coached by Rex Ryan, and it doesn't make much sense to me. You would think that if Rex Ryan thought that he was worth the money, then it would have been an extended deal.
It just shows you that Percy Harvin still has the same cocaine connections, and Rex Ryan is cool with that.
All right, what's going on with Byron Maxwell?
Signed with the Eagles, 6-year deal worth $60 million, $25 million guaranteed over the first 3 years. Way too much money. He's not going to be half the player that he was for the Seahawks without Richard Sherman and Cam Chancellor and Earl Thomas and all those folks. He's coming off an injury. It's nope. Stupid. Chip Kelly's going to look back on this one and, punch himself in the left testicle for it.
Well, I think Chip Kelly's going to look back on the offseason and,
throw himself off a bridge.
Well, I was going to say he's going to be in a padded room eating his own feces, but yeah, the bridge is good too.
Is he eating his feces on the way down from the bridge jump while punching himself in the testicle?
See, there you go. We all got what we want. That's a compromise.
What's up with Nick Fairley?
He signs with the Rams on a 1-year deal for $5 million. It could be 7.5 with all the incentives that are included in it. Joe McAtee, our Rams connection there for Turf Show Times, says Fisher's relying on the D-line to carry the team. The loss of Chris Long last year had a real impact. I think they're looking to mitigate any similar repeat of that impact by strengthening the strength of the team, which makes a lot of sense, but this is another one that's on a 1-year deal that I just thought was going to get a lot more money, and it seems like the people that I thought, are way overpaid, and then the people that are underpaid are just grossly underpaid. So,
well, you've got to evaluate him apart from Sue and apart from the Detroit defense, and you don't want to throw too much money at him while you're doing that evaluation. He has not been the dominant force he was supposed to be. He's been okay, but not great. And why throw money at him needlessly? He could very well be a great part in that defense, but he could also be a terrible, horrible waste of space. Those are called options, fellas.
Well, speaking of Detroit, Haloti Ngata was traded to the Lions.
Yeah. Yep, go RoboCop.
That's all we got to say about that.
You can tell Ron is still not happy about this. when it happened, he was super mad, and I was messed up, and it was late at night, and I started making fun of him, and then I forgot what we were talking about, and I started eating chips.
Because that's how important it is. It's not, and
Well, then let's move on to Torrey Smith. Or did you want to wrap that up?
No, Torrey Smith, signed with the 49ers, 5-year, $45 million, which is about what he's worth, really. Even then, that might be a little high, given that ever since, the Super Bowl year, he just has not been producing much.
Right, but his play style is going to fit well with a West Coast offense as opposed to a downfield offense like Joe Flacco plays. So
the 49ers are going to have a disappointment-style offense this next year, what with their coach, who is a total plant, from defensive line to defensive coordinator.
Do you call him a total plant?
He's a total plant. He's planted by the GM, who thinks he knows what he's doing.
I thought you meant like foliage.
No.
And you laughed really hard at that. This is why we don't let you tell jokes, Ron.
I'm sorry. I just if you're gonna call a guy a FICA, call him a FICA.
This is why you don't tell jokes, Ron.
All right,
it's bad. Oh no. The next thing. Do the thing.
You want me to do the thing?
Just I want the pain to stop.
Pernell McPhee.
He went to the Chicago Bears, who had to go ahead and throw money at him, although they actually did really well considering. I mean, 5 years, $40 million. A lot of reports are saying this guy would get 10, and the Bears kept it pretty reasonable. And when you double down and consider they're transitioning from a 4-3 to a 3-4, they needed the kind of veterans to come in who know that kind of defense and know their responsibilities, help train up the young guys. This is actually a pretty darn good signing by the Bears when you get right down to it.
At first, I was really kind of upset about the signing. I thought it was way too much money, but after talking to our contacts, Larry Dyer and Lester Wiltfong, both of them have said that the money is good there. It's not too much guaranteed, and they can get out from under it in 2 years. So it's a decent deal.
He's not been amazing, but he's worth that kind of money, even though he's not necessarily proven. It's a gamble to be certain, but it's a relatively needed gamble. So could have done a lot worse. He could have signed with the Colts for $10 million a year. I'm just happy that didn't happen.
Well, how about Jeremy Maclin?
Signed with the Chiefs to a 5-year, $55 million deal, which is another gross overpayment. Way too much money. He's not going to be.
The Chiefs needed wide receivers, though.
Yeah, but he's not going to be nearly as successful outside of the Eagles' offense, especially with the Chiefs, who are, like watching clay.
Yeah, but he's reunited with Andy Reid. And the Chiefs are going to need somebody to come in who knows how to be a wide receiver in Andy Reid's system, because they're going to draft a guy, so they're paying him not only to produce but also to teach.
He's not going to know how to be a wide receiver in his system anyway, because every year he played with Andy Reid, he sat on the bench with broken feet and broken, ego or whatever, his man time hurt him. So it doesn't matter. He might be able to instruct somebody from crutches.
Well, maybe
that's
he
what
was
he's going to be
paying
able to
attention
do.
when he was sitting himself down, and Andy Reid liked the way he paid attention. Maybe he is going to get Andy Reid a coffee. Maybe he's that helpful kind of player who, when you sit him down, he's like, "Hey, coach, you need anything? Some water, sandwich? What do you need?" And Andy Reid's like, "Hell yeah, I'm getting that guy. You throw that money at him."
The only thing Andy Reid is drinking is butter, melted butter.
Butter sandwiches.
He might also be drinking mayonnaise. Let's not be mean.
Mayonnaise butter shake? God, that made me cringe a little bit. Just saying it.
Yeah, what the hell's wrong with you?
You did that to yourself.
You're fired. Kyle, what's going on with Jared Aldrich?
He's some guy.
Oh, okay.
Former Dolphins defensive tackle signed to the Jags, and I only have him in here because Colton was pretty excited, saying he finally got the pass rush figured out.
Colton's excited about everything.
That's true. He is excited about everything.
Why? Because he's 20, and the weight of reality of life has not crushed him yet. Like, that pressure that turns coal into diamonds, it's not there with him yet. He's still coal. You come back to me when you got that shine that makes little African kids kill each other, okay? Then we'll talk.
Jesus Christ. Who's Colton?
Colton is our...
Introduce the guy.
Colton Menzel is our Big Cat Country. Once again, our Big Cat Country connection to the SB Nation community.
Yeah, did he do anything to wrong Kyle?
Everybody has at some point done something to wrong Kyle.
Oh, okay, yeah, silly me.
And if nothing else, we'll just chalk it up to good old division rivalry. Although then I get to throw in that barb, Colton, you got to produce to be a rival. Ooh.
Ouch,
And then
dude.
the Colts fail this year. It'll be great.
All right, how about Terrence Knighton?
signed a 1-year deal for $4 million with the Redskins. Leaves the Broncos begrudgingly. Is that how you say that? Yeah. Okay. So he left them, and he was upset with them because they wouldn't give him money, and so he decided to go get paid less from the Redskins, which I found interesting.
He could have gotten paid more for a longer contract with a few different teams, so I have no idea. He is betting on himself.
He's playing poker when everybody else is playing Crazy Eights, that's for sure.
I like Go Fish.
That was incredibly old-timey. It was like adorable. Brian Arakpo?
Signs with the Titans, leaves the ever-hated Redskins because I think he was really miserable there, and he goes to the Titans where he will fade into obscurity, I think is what Keil said.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
All right, well, a lot of Colts news right now. We got Andre Johnson.
Yep, he leaves the Texans after, 13 years in Houston?
Yep.
Jesus.
So, yeah, he is going to division rival Indianapolis, and this will be his first chance to win a game in Indy.
Ow. Damn. No way. They've never won an Indy ever?
Not once. I brought this up. I said the games that the Colts have to win, number one, you have to beat the Texans at home. 2 wins on the year. Peyton Manning out. Suck for luck. Beat the Texans at home that year. Yeah.
Well, it looks like the Colts also got Frank Gore.
Old man, 32 years old, but he is the type of running back that the Colts have always wanted. He's very healthy, despite the fact that he's had 3 knee surgeries, so that's really confusing. But there's not going to be a whole lot of expectations.
Yeah, this is one where he was supposed to go to the Eagles. He gets all the way out to the Eagles, sits down with Chip Kelly, and then he was like, what is wrong with everyone here? What are you all drinking? You're all waiting for the mothership. And he's like, I'm out of here. And he went to Indy and was like, hey, I'm going here. Because him and Andre Johnson are actually really decent friends. And when Andre Johnson wasn't retained by the Texans, he was like, hey, Andre, where are you going? And he's like, I'm going to the Colts. And he's like, oh, I'll meet you there.
Well, the way I hear it, Moore and Andre were very much eager to join the Colts, not just for the success, but head coach Chuck Pagano was a coach at University of Miami, where both of them attended. They are both very deep in trying to recruit another University of Miami alum, Vince Wilfork. They are really trying to get him there. I would be just fine with that. I love Vince Wilfork.
I know you do.
Well, also picked up by the Colts is Trent Cole.
I don't love him as much.
How much do you love him?
I guess I don't.
Would you buy him a donut?
Yeah, I'd buy him a donut, sure.
Okay, see, there you go. That's where your judgment lies. Somewhere between I don't and I'll buy him a donut. So,
you know what? I'd buy him a donut and coffee, but not the biggest size coffee, if that gives you some perspective.
He was a really good linebacker. Plays that
legitimate analysis into our donut story. It's perfect.
All right, fine, move on. I don't care.
Jabal Sheard.
Signed with the Patriots. Yep. Good. Real good linebacker. He's going to be a great addition there. Dan Laylock that we talked to.
Bless you.
Was not very happy about losing him when we talked to him today. So,
I guess Raheem Morris on a deal with the Texans.
3 years, $12 million. So, I guess that's one of those where you're just like, oh, that happened. Factual information. Move on. What's for dinner?
Dan Williams is on with the Oakland Raiders for the next 5 years.
So 3 total former Cardinals defensive tackles all went to the Bay Area.
Yeah.
And Levi Damien says it's a great addition to help out Khalil Mack on defense and take pressure off the secondary. So there you go.
How about Antonio Cromartie?
He gets to go back and play with Big Brother, and they can high-five and ass-slap as much as they want. Scott Salmon loves it, says they needed him bad.
It's a very, very strong showing that the Jets are having this year on defense. And
I think everybody's getting it, that the Patriots need to be taken down at this point.
Yeah, finally. I mean, okay, we aren't going to go ahead and give a dude a terminal illness because we're a little too lazy, and that makes people feel sad, blah, 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 blah. But we're going to go ahead and beat him on the field where it's legitimate and honorable. You make me sick. Give him a disease already. Come on.
Looks like Shane Vereen.
I mean, like, can't we make it a trading mission for some CIA guys or something? I mean, let's go. Come on. Something.
Are you proud of your work?
I am always proud of my work.
All right.
Shane Vereen.
What about him?
He signed with the Giants.
All right.
Ed Valentine, really great analyst and writer, has also commented on that one and said he's very excited the Giants haven't had a back like him ever, and that's pretty much it. He's very concise, so that was all he really gave me. But
You're just mad because you wanted Ed to give you something wacky and he didn't.
I'm not mad. I was just like I expected something very eloquent and using big words and stuff, and he was just like, you know what, Twitter's dumb. Here, stop tweeting me. And he was like, I don't like you anyway.
He used to work in print media, and you contacted him via Twitter. That's a bad touch right there, man.
What, was I supposed to send him a letter between the time that they got sent?
No, you're supposed to put out an ad in his local paper and hope that he reads it.
Yeah. Duh. Intro roll.
Yep, signs with the Bears. Finally get a solution at safety. 3 years, $11.5 million. We may have paid a little bit more than probably we needed to, but Larry Dyer told me via Facebook that they finally figured out a way to find a balanced safety that can help groom the successor there. He says he wishes we could have gotten him back in 2010 when he was available. Then Lester Wiltfong from Windy City Gridiron says, how could you not be happy? It's only $60 million guaranteed, which isn't bad. He was behind 2 Pro Bowlers, and his lack of playing time doesn't worry me.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, they're handsome.
So, how can it be $16 million guaranteed if you said that he signed for 3 years for $11.5 million?
I have a typo. You're right. My fault.
All right. I guess looks like Reggie Bush had signed him with the 49ers.
Well, he moves back to California, which was the last time he was worth a damn, so that's about all the excitement that gets.
Is there any more excitement for Brian Hoyer signed to the Texans?
A little bit.
No.
I mean, he might get a chance to start, and it's exciting for me because the Colts were pretty good against Brian Hoyer. So, yeah, playing him twice a year, okay. All right, yeah.
Yeah, all those quarterbacks there are really scissoring out some disappointment, though.
I enjoyed that as well.
I stole that from Mike, by the
Yeah,
way.
that's awesome. I love that. How about Michael Johnson signing with the Bengals?
Yep, he goes back to the Bengals after a year or 2 years in Bucs territory, land, place. That's it.
It's the Bengals, man. You don't do that and feel good. You don't sign with the Bengals and say, hey, I'm feeling good about this. Andy Dalton, he is ready to make his move.
Nobody wants to live in Cincinnati.
Yeah,
they don't.
Yeah,
Nobody does.
I don't. I'm part of that list of people that doesn't. I definitely don't.
If I polled 100 people, I guarantee you that at least 100 of those people would say they don't want to live in Cincinnati.
Look, if I get a layover in Cincinnati, I'm pissed off.
Do you guys you want to go over your free agency top winners and losers?
Yeah, let's do that.
You want to start that off, Ron?
I have the Dolphins as a winner. They won because by volume alone. It seems like the trades and the free agency moves that they made. The Ndamukong Suh signing kind of puts the icing on the cake, and that's it. I don't think anybody can really argue that they didn't have a great free agency period.
They had a great free agency period, but I'd say it's largely augmented by their trading. If you're going just by signing free agents alone, then instead of the Dolphins, I'd suggest the Colts. Now, they did get a lot of older guys, but they were able to handle a lot of positions in need. Getting Andre Johnson takes care of wide receiver. They got a running back. They got pass rush. They got defensive line. They got a offensive lineman. So while they got a little bit older, each and every one of their people was signed to a contract that can essentially be eliminated in 2 years, which is coincidentally right at the time when Andrew Luck's going to sign his big money deal. So none of these are exactly risky signings. They're all relatively safe. And the worst case scenario is a year or two of a veteran that isn't worth what they're being paid.
That's funny because my loser is the Colts. And that is solely just to aggravate Kyle.
Yeah, well, I just eloquently put out all the reasons why that doesn't make any sense. So I guess that just makes you a salty old woman.
Well, it's that they decided to improve the roster with older veterans. What you're supposed to do is complement the roster with older veterans.
Well, yeah, okay,
and they are trying to fill it.
No, that's because their goal was to make sure that they didn't ruin the cap situation. And when you're signing guys to 2-year deals, you're only getting a certain type of player. You're either getting a young guy that is terrible, or you're getting an old guy that's past his prime that just wants a ring. And each and every one of the guys who signed with him said, the reason I'm signing with Indy is they've got the best young quarterback in the game. They're not counting Aaron Rodgers. And hey, the Packers don't play the free agency game anyway, so they're all chasing a ring, and they know for free agency, Indy is their best shot at that ring. So why would they not? And it's good for the Colts. You're not taking any big risks on.
All right, I was just kidding. I don't think the Colts lost. I definitely.
Yeah, I know. You give me a chance to actually know something, and then I almost do. I'm not sure if those thoughts were coherent. I'm not going to smack talk too hard.
It was. I actually think the Eagles are the loser, just because I think that their thought process is so scattered that there's just no way that all of this is going to work out in their favor.
All I know is there's something about brainwashed alien souls and DC-8s with rocket engines transporting the aliens due to Lord Xenu's plan going on in Philadelphia, man. There is some wild, otherworldly E-meter nonsense going on in there. That is the only explanation.
What just happened right there?
Yeah,
what just happened right there? What the hell was that?
Did I have a stroke?
What happened?
I woke up in the middle of something.
What the hell was that, Kyle? That was out there even for you a little bit.
No,
I'm impressed. I'm not even mad.
Basically me describing what it is to be a Scientologist.
No, I know that. No, I know that completely. No, I caught that. It was just so funny because I'm like sitting here ready to prompt you on like, Kyle, who's your loser? Then all of a sudden I'm transported to this magical land of sarcastic analogy.
Yeah, I can only hope that the Scientologists don't hear this, because I hear they're kind of vindictive and my name is attached and I'm going to like lose my home or something. But I don't think that they really care, because they know I'm an idiot. And they're like, well, if this guy is against us, then it's probably a net gain. If you're going to ask me for my loser, it is the Raiders. And that is because the Raiders have a lot of money and did pretty much nothing with it but lose people. And
yeah, it was pretty bad.
When you got the money they do, and we even said, well, this year has got to be on the up and up. You got a quarterback now. People are going to be coming. You got a quarterback. They'll be here. There's a quarterback. And then people are like, yeah, no, we don't want anything to do with that quarterback. We want Andrew Luck. So I'm starting to understand the pessimism that Levi Damien had. It's a bad thing. It is not looking great for the Raiders. They really need to nail the draft, because what they're going to be doing in free agency is picking up scraps.
All right, you want to talk some news?
Yeah, let's get into that. Let's attempt to, at least.
Yeah. In recent news, linebacker Jason Worilds retires at age 27 after playing only 5 years, stating he's leaving to get more involved in the church.
This reminds me of just one thing, and that was, I don't know if you remember, Kyle. I don't know how far back I know you're a more recent fan, but Glenn Coffey for the 49ers was a up-and-coming running back and was supposed to be Frank Gore's successor, and he walked away one day. Like in mid-season, he just, nope, I'm retiring. Thanks, but no thanks. And then he went on to open up his own church.
Oh, and what about that one kid from like San Diego State who was a big prospect in last year's draft and then was in some sort of cult and talking about some sort of Jesus man and how much he loves everybody, and then he's like found 5 weeks later wearing the same clothes and his underpants are like crusted to his body or something like that. It's like that.
Yeah, I remember that too. I'm not saying that somebody shouldn't, chase their religion. He did play for 5 years in the NFL. It's probably to a point where he's like, you know what, I made enough money. I'm happy with where I am. I used the money right. I invested it right, and I'm going to take this and go home. And thanks, guys, but no thanks.
But that's not saying what he said. When you say, I'm leaving the NFL to get more involved in the church, it's like, how involved do you need to be exactly? If you say, look, I've accomplished my goals, I made a roster, it hurts a little bit when I move around now, I'm kind of done, I'd like to spend some time at my church and time with my family, you're like, oh, okay, normal guy, yeah, he's done. When you're like, I'm leaving to spend time at the church, it's like, okay, no babies near that man, because we're going to have some sort of crazy Temple of Doom scenario if we don't watch out.
Jesus, that was awful. Just go, Mike. God.
Did he release this information on Twitter, or like was he?
No, it was in a statement, but
so he totally had the opportunity to put all that in, and he didn't.
Yeah, he didn't.
All right, then. Well, in that case, I'm with Kyle. Temple of Doom. Quarterback Jake Locker. Quarterback Jake Locker is retired after 4 years in the NFL.
He was a always injured hotel member.
Hotel. Yep.
And great for him. I'm good because I couldn't imagine watching another season of him, crying.
You don't think he had many miles left on him?
Dude,
he tried so hard, and he seemed like a genuinely nice guy. And it was one of those, the spirit was willing, but the flesh was weak, and his body just kept giving out on him. And so you feel bad, and good for him for going out on his terms instead of waiting around to be told you're not being picked for the kickball team and, go sit with that kid who eats bugs. No, he is going to go over and find that kid who eats bugs, and they are going to find new bugs, and they will be delicious.
Wow.
I was totally that kid at kickball. Like, you really hit a note in my soul for that.
Why do you reveal those kind of things to Keil? Do you know what kind of damage you can do with that?
Damage? Like it's not going to be more damaging being...
Damage has been done
it's
already.
Not going to be more damaging than being the last kid picked in kickball for your entire damn childhood. That's why I don't do sports, and here I am on a podcast talking football. All right, quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick sent to the Jets for a conditional 7th-round pick.
Yeah, he goes to the Jets, and the 7th-round draft pick that you're talking about, conditional, could go all the way up to a 3rd, depending on play time and all that kind of stuff. So, good.
But that's really smart by the Texans, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. It's probably going to be a situation where he's going to have to start, and I think it's based on like total amount of games started or total record or something like that. And if he goes there and performs at a certain level, they could end up getting that can go from a 7th to a 6th to a 5th to a 4th, and then up to a maximum of a 3rd-round draft pick.
Well, not just that, but now the Jets have a guy who, while maybe not a world beater, is a competent journeyman kind of starter. So now the Jets don't have the critical need to draft a quarterback. And for a first-year coach, you're probably not going to want to take a reach on a guy. So this gives them a chance to go ahead, play with Fitzpatrick, figure the roster out, see what's going on, and then go again next year. So this is a move that, if nobody else, the Eagles love, because this probably means the Jets not taking Marcus Mariota with number 6.
Amish rifle. He went to Harvard. That's all I've got. I'm sorry.
Amish rifle?
Yeah, he's the Amish rifle.
I like it.
We're good. Well, I'll explain it off the air, but it actually makes sense.
Is that dude's nickname?
Yeah,
I don't even want context. Rifle. That's awesome. Amish rifle. Well, the Saints have been panicking, and they've went into going out of business mode, and they've started a fire sale.
Yeah, they saw the press that Chip Kelly was getting with all his terrible ideas and said, you ain't gonna out-diva this team.
Yeah, they were like, we can do really terrible things too. Watch us, trade away all of our players for nothing. And we had a chance to talk to our Saints rep today from SB Nation, and the whole thing is weird to him as well. Some of the moves he says make sense. Some of them don't. When you talk about like the Jimmy Graham move, it doesn't make sense. They just gave him a big contract just last year. The Donnell Ellerbe trade where they sent Kenny Stills and they got Donnell Ellerbe from the Dolphins, that didn't make much sense either because they actually were getting more in money, having to pay more in money by doing that. And the whole Ben Grubbs thing, there's so much more to the story, and the next topic kind of brings it up. But
it definitely makes you feel like there's additional information that is somehow secret, which is unusual because usually in the NFL, even if somebody's doing something and they're not being open about their motives, you can guess at it. Right now, it's hard to even guess at what they're doing because, like Ron said, you get rid of a promising wide receiver who was a 5th-round draft pick and making 5th-round draft pick money. That's nothing. He's making like $500,000 a year, and you're trading for a big money linebacker. I mean, this is not smart practice. You're trading a known commodity for a 3rd-round draft pick. That's not how things are done. So at best, the Saints are saying that they think Drew Brees can still be productive with nothing around him, a la Tom Brady, and going all in on defense. That's about as close as we get to making sense. I'm willing to bet they're going to do something way dumber because that is how life works.
That's one of the things we're going to talk about a little bit later.
Well, the rumors are that the Saints quarterback Drew Brees wasn't a fan of Kenny Stills or Ben Grubbs. That's why those guys are gone.
I still don't understand this whole story, because all I have heard so far is that he was not a fan of them and didn't get along with them very much, didn't like them, so now they're gone. And I don't understand that, because there's a lot of people who work with people they don't like, but because those people do their jobs well, there's really not much you can do about it. Like, Ben Grubbs did his job well. Kenny Stills did his job well. And I get that, everybody can't be, friends and holding hands and singing Kumbaya, and if that's what Drew Brees expects, then he's very, very naive for a man of his age. And it doesn't make any sense. And at this point, if all of this is true, it makes Drew Brees look like a crybaby.
I mean, regardless of the fact someone can do their job or not everyone is blessed with the ability to just, or rather the professionalism to just put all that aside and just play some damn football,
I mean, yeah, look, I do this podcast with Keil every week. I mean,
you're gonna
nothing. Okay, all right, go ahead.
You're gonna let him get away with that, Kyle.
He's over there making a milkshake, bringing all the boys to the yard. I don't know what he's doing over there.
No. Get him.
That one is inappropriate.
Toads and probes.
Totes and approps, yo.
Well,
But yeah, no, I saw that coming. Like, oh, we're talking about people not liking someone they work with. I'm like, well, I'm just gonna tune out because I already know where the joke is coming here. And then I just hear silence, and I'm like, does that mean Ron made the joke finally, and they're waiting for my reaction? You know what? No, you get nothing. You get nothing, and you will like
sandbag
it.
Time.
Willy Wonka all up in your face.
Well, thank you for being the bus driver, Kyle.
I Willy Wonka'd you. That is what happened.
Willy Wonka'd me.
The veteran combine will go forward without the likes of Vince Young or Tim Tebow.
It was funny enough without Vince Young. Now it's hilarious without Tim Tebow.
Yeah, I got nothing for that. That pretty much sums it up.
Cortland Finnegan had retired after 12 seasons.
Thank you.
I read somewhere, and I don't remember where, but it was 9, and I remember thinking he's been in way longer than that.
It's 12. And I'm glad. The guy's a jerk. And a complete douchebag. And he does. I'm glad he never really amounted to anything.
Yeah, but how do you feel about him, though?
I would like.
Well, let me put it to you this way. He is most famously known for getting Andre Johnson, free agent who signed with the Colts, Andre Johnson, to get into a fight with him in the middle of a game. And Andre Johnson was known as being one of those nice, soft-spoken, friendly guys, wouldn't hurt a fly kind of guy. And I guess he just had enough of Cortland Finnegan, ripped off dude's helmet and started punching him in the face. And Cortland Finnegan had the balls to actually say in his farewell little thing, oh yeah, I got into a fight with some guy, he hits like a bitch. It's like, he can hit like a bitch when he has you down on your hands and knees and he's jabbing you in the side of the face. He can hit like a bitch all day long because he's already won.
That's the best, though. Like, if you get your ass kicked, you might as well say some stupid stuff like that. Like, I mean, I haven't seen the video, and it sounds like I don't like this guy, but that sounds pretty damn funny. Like, if you're sitting there all like punched up, like think Brad Pitt in Fight Club.
Yeah, the guy's a douchebag.
He just wanted to make fun of the guy for his jab. Like you can kick my ass on the outside, but you're not kicking my ass on the inside. Every time Ron wants me to move on, he just starts highlighting stuff in the document. Like, that's going to stop the Keil train.
Well,
I see what you're doing there, Ron. I got it. Thank you. I understand. That's the next thing.
Like, do some of this. See, oh, there it goes.
You want me to read that?
Please, thank you.
Jimmy Graham's been traded to this. Hey, that's effing funny. That's great. Yeah.
Oh wow, that was awesome.
Who was that?
Oh, it wasn't me, but it was.
That's fantastic.
It doesn't make it any less funny.
Yeah, that's the best thing ever. Not even sure that'll make it to air. That's just hilarious.
All right, read it. Go. Hurry up.
Hey, you listen to me. Jimmy Graham has been traded to the Seahawks for Max Unger, a Pro Bowl center, and a first-round draft pick.
Was not a popular move for most people. In fact, you read about the Drew Brees kids pretty tore up about it. Drew Brees was not happy about it. And it just goes to show right now that nobody in New Orleans is safe. Anything can happen. And that the Saints are the best secret keepers right now because of them not even shopping him. Like, nobody knew that he was even up for grabs, and the Seahawks got him. And now the Saints are also for sending him there because all they did was make a team that was already really strong even stronger.
Well, yeah, but
like we keep discussing this, Ron, and I keep telling you, you don't get to be mad about the Seahawks being great until your team can legitimately stand on the same pedestal as them. It's like you don't get to be the Jaguars and be like, come on, man, you don't get to make that trade with the Patriots. No, you're the Jaguars. First, you have to beat the local varsity team, the high school kids, before you can complain about the Patriots.
Well, I have a question.
Yes.
What the hell are the Eagles doing?
They're on coke and LSD and ecstasy
At the same time.
Scientology has finally wormed its way into the NFL.
Yeah, they're feeling what they smell right now.
It's been beyond confusing to get rid of the most productive offensive weapon 2 years in a row. And I talked about this myself last week in the show, and I said at the time, and this is before a lot of the stuff had finalized, like, it's hard to say what Chip Kelly is doing, and he might be a genius, but he's looking like a damn fool right now, and it's becoming very difficult to think that he knows what he's doing as an NFL director of personnel, which he is now, and he's playing his hand way too early. He's making it way too obvious what he's doing. The big thing, of course, is that Nick Foles-Sam Bradford trade. To say that initially they were like, hey, straight up, like, first rounder for Sam Bradford, and the Rams said no for some reason. And that shows you Chip Kelly is apparently all in on Sam Bradford, which is a terrible decision. But then giving up Nick Foles and a second for Sam Bradford, and what is it, a third or a fifth?
Yeah, I don't have the details sitting right in front of me, but I know that
it doesn't make sense. If you were to say, as the Eagles, you hold on to Nick Foles and you trade away your first and a second to the Jets to move up to number 6 and take Mariota or something like that, that's fine. But what they're doing now is just crazy. However, what's even crazier is Ron brought this up to me. He said, well, what if Chip Kelly is a genius and you're the idiot, Keil? And so I started listening because what he said had, Keil, you might be an idiot. So it's very possibly true. So I got to listen. And he said, what if Mariota falls to 20? You start looking at what's going on. The Jets have a quarterback now. The Titans aren't going to take Mariota, most likely. They're going to take Leonard Williams out of USC. They need line help way more than they need a quarterback. You don't take a quarterback in the first unless you're kind of ready to compete or it's a can't-miss guy.
Right, and the way you look at it, like what you're saying, Keil, is they have basically systematically gone through and filled the needs of the teams that would draft Mariota ahead of them so that Mariota can fall to them.
And that's wicked genius level if that is the actual case. If you're saying, hey, let's act like we want Sam Bradford just to go ahead and trick them into accepting Nick Foles. Nick Foles is happy to be out of Chip Kelly's offense. The Rams no longer need to draft a quarterback. It's starting to look like Marcus Mariota will be there at number 20, and that's insanity.
And even if he's not, and they do need to trade up to, like, let's say the Browns pick, it's going to cost them a lot less to trade up to 13 than it would be to 2. Or to 6.
Yeah, it's just a scary thing if that works. But at the same time, you're still losing your best wide receiver that you had on the roster for the second year in a row now, losing your best running back. Okay, you're gaining a great one in DeMarco Murray, but then you're supplanting, dude from the Chargers, and just all these things, none of them quite line up in a way that makes you think that Chip Kelly has not had a massive stroke.
Yeah, it's real confusing. I don't really know what to make of all of it, and all we can do with this one is just wait for time to tell.
The one thing that'll be shocking is if Marcus Mariota is on the board at number 20 and the Eagles take somebody else. For one, it'll break Mariota's little heart. Just, so sad. And two, that would be a crazy thing because you can't get more Chip Kelly than Chip Kelly taking a Chip Kelly quarterback who's previously coached by Chip Kelly. It's the sort of thing where you stick your head so far up your own butt, you can stick your head up your butt's butt. I don't know. I had to Mike, you missed it in the middle of last show. I started talking, stopped. Ron suggested I had a stroke. And then, not being prompted, not even thinking about my words, I screamed, "Stop it, Tom Brady. Jesus loves me and not you."
I want to make that my ringtone. It's the middle of the grocery store. Kyle screaming at Tom Brady. You guys want to go over trades and releases?
No, we'll just skip it.
All right,
Screw
good.
it.
Well, that makes time for our segment This is a official FBIA podcast segment, even though it happens constantly throughout the show. We're actually framing it up this time. This happens frequently throughout the show, but we're actually we're setting aside time for this. Ron wants to argue with Keil about how much Drew Brees is worth. Round one, go.
I started this argument with Keil while driving back from Pennsylvania the other day, and Keil and I talked, I think, at length for about an hour about this until we finally actually came to the same conclusion, but the argument is still fun. So I'm going to start it again, Keil, so be ready.
What?
This conversation is about what is Drew Brees worth? If you are a GM, let's say for the Jets, and you are literally just one good QB away from being a Super Bowl contender, based on the players that you have around the QB there, what are you willing to give up to get Drew Brees? Considering the fire sale that's going on with the Saints, would you give up 2 first-round picks and a conditional third type of pick, or another Pro Bowl type of player to go with it?
And a Klondike bar.
Yes.
Okay, well, if you're giving me the scenario of I am the Jets GM, I just say that is too high a ransom for the here and the now, because so much of what you're proposing there is based on everything going right and nothing going wrong, because you're giving away 2 first-round picks is always a big deal, but to give away 2 first-round picks for a guy who's probably not going to be in the league 3-4 years from now is a lot to ask. And I know that the Jets are super talented right now, and a great quarterback could mean the difference between 7-9 and 13-3. I understand that, but it's a king's ransom to give up. And with especially as unpredictable as the playoffs are, I just don't see mortgaging the future for the present.
And see, that's where we differ, because I believe that if I was in the position that the Jets are in, I have tons of money to spend. I have all the pieces that I pretty much need, minus, I could upgrade here or there in small portions. And all I need is that quarterback, and that difference is 7-9 to 13-3, and beating the Patriots out for the division, and making the Dolphins look dumb for signing all their free agents. I'm doing it.
Well, yeah, and I get that, but what you're doing is you're making that guarantee in your head. Okay, this guy is the difference between 7-9 and 13-3. Like, there's no doubt about it. And I don't think you can do that. And my example was, in this case, you've got a first-year GM and a first-year head coach, and this is the first time for both of them. They don't have prior experience, so they want to, if it doesn't work out, at least have some degree of competency or something like that. So when you tell a first-time head coach, hey, you're not getting that number 6 overall pick, and you're not getting your first-rounder next year, and we're also giving up, like, a third-rounder this year, because we're putting this quarterback into your offense and you will make this work. That's a big risk, because now he does not get to pick up his guy, and he does not get to get his guy next year. And that could lead to some definite problems. I understand that if things go right, that first rounder the next year is going to be a pretty late pick in the round and might not be worth as much. But as a first time coach, you're really going to give up your chance to mold a player and have him be your mark on the team? I think a coach wants that.
Well, I guess my theory on it is, you know what? Never mind. You know what? Damn it. I can't even process thought right now. Anyway, all I'm saying...
This is the worst fight ever. Like, will you guys please call some names or something? Jesus.
All I'm saying is, if draft day comes and they decide not to go after Mariota, or Mariota's gone, don't be surprised to see the Jets trade their pick plus next year's pick to get themselves Drew Brees. That's all I'm saying. Or any other team that is a quarterback away. And I don't have, a specific thought in my mind about what team is a quarterback away other than the Jets, because that is...
You were so much better arguing this when you were driving. You do not have the passion, and I blame the long day.
Yeah, it is bad. I thought when I wrote or wanted to do this segment, I definitely was pumped to do it because I had just gotten home from arguing with you about it, and now I realize that this was a terrible mistake. But
well, it's fine. But look, here's how it comes down: is you've got the school of thought of winning a championship. You can mortgage the future for that because that ring stays on your finger forever. And that is true. But I'm of the belief that that is a different thing. Now, if you had like John Fox as the head coach, he'd probably be on board with something like that because he's had his success. He wants his ring. But a first-year head coach wants his legacy. He wants his chance. He wants his career. He's still in the process. So you get a Todd Bowles in there. He wants to be able to draft a great defender or a great wideout or whoever. It doesn't matter. He wants his guy that will be there during his tenure, that will adhere to his philosophy, and that will be a reflection of himself as a leader. And when you take that away, it's taking away a lot of a coach's identity. So if it doesn't work out with Drew Brees, then that coach has nothing positive to fall back on. And it will hinder their ability to get a job in the future. You know? Now you might argue, hey, look, Richie Kotai got a second head coaching job. Okay, that is incredible. That really shows you how rampant alcoholism in the NFL ownership level. But I can't discount your point that if you are sitting right there and success is within sight and you have a chance to go for it, you have to at least consider it. I'm of the opinion that if you are going to give up a first and a second, or a first, a second, and a conditional, or like a first, a second, and a player, that's something. If it's Cleveland giving up 2 firsts in this year, or a first this year, a first next year, that's fine. Cleveland has 2 first-round draft picks this year. It's not as impactful, but for a lot of teams, it would just be too damning. For the Saints, it would be great. Now, I will agree, if I'm the Saints and I can get 2 first-round picks for Drew Brees, cash that check, because you've already thrown out all the rest of the talent on the team. Why stop there? Get rid of the quarterback, make the fans hate you. Do it. I think that if you bring in Marcus Mariota on the heels of trading Drew Brees, he's going to have a hell of an uphill battle because now he's replacing the guy that the community loved, and he's not going to be able to do that. But as a GM, you look to the future and you look towards getting the most wins you can.
Well said, Kyle. You definitely beat me. That's for sure. I have no more. I just have no more energy, man. We're gonna wrap.
You want to wrap
this
this up, guys?
Yeah.
I should have argued with Mike. Mike would be like, "Well, I don't know. You're an asshole," and then it might not have been topical, but it would have at least been passionate.
You just
how's your coloring book coming? Mike?
No, man. We need to pick up some more.
All right.
I'm gonna start wallpapering your man cave.
Let's kill this thing. First of all, thank you to Nick Wright, our producer. He has a lot of work once again this week to do, and he has been diligently working hard to keep us afloat, and I appreciate all the work that he does. I actually tweeted out thank you for all of his hard work and trying to put his name out there a little bit more. Also, thank you to Cindy.
You're being too nice to him. Nick, work harder.
Thank you to Cindy.
Yeah, go Cindy. I'm gonna get Cindy in touch with my sister. They can start the Big Ass Baby Club. They can hang out with their huge kids.
You can't let those giant babies hang out together. What if they're all some sort of proto-human and they're going to meld together and take on some sort of gaseous form and
well, hang
choke
on. That's
us
my
all?
nephew. I'm pretty sure I'm on his team. You know what I mean?
Are you assuming that gaseous baby forms are going to go ahead and be cool with humanity? No, they're going to destroy us.
Gaseous babies. Do we want to thank anyone else or leave it there?
We're going to thank the listeners.
Yeah.
Thank you, listeners. And doing that thing with your ears that processes sound.
You clicked, and you can either regret it or love it. We hope that we made your workout better. I'm told that we are good to listen to while working out.
That means that is code for we don't really pay attention to what you're saying.
Oh, I'm sad now.
I listen to us while I do the dishes.
Also, thank you to our military members, all of those listeners. Thank you guys so much for everything that you do, not just as a listener, but for our country. And come home safe. We appreciate you in the grandest form.
I also appreciate all the people who are doing my home loan. Thank you. Maybe next time, when I say I need an email verification of what's going on, you send me the email verification. But, what's an extra $1,000 here and there?
So, lastly, also, don't forget that you can go to our website, fbiapodcast.com. Get us those emails. footballisamericapodcast@gmail.com or fbiapodcast@gmail.com. Also on Twitter @FBIApodcast. Also on Facebook, facebook.com/footballisamericapodcast. You can go to all those different platforms and tell us the things that you want to say to me, which would only be nice things, and all of the horrible things that you would say to Kyle.
You can find me on YouTube at Mike at the Airport, and the I'll kill yous.
Well, thank you for that.
Easily the best band name I have ever heard. And if you disagree, I don't even have the right words of disdain for you. That's the sort of thing like the shame I would feel for you not enjoying that band name is like a priest who finds out that his son is gay and disowns him. Like that level of shame.
Kyle, that is the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
Well, I'm sorry, but that name is brilliant. And I actually like the music, too. I find myself listening to your channel when I don't want to. It's infectious.
Really? That's awesome. That's effing great. I think you're probably my first fan that way.
It's strange to find myself humming along to it and be like, what's that song? Ah, damn it, Mike! And then I drink a nice Crystal Pepsi.
All right, we got to wrap up, guys. We're over time. Everybody have a good night.
All right, later on.
Take care.
Night, y'all.